real lawyer. In the courtroom, I'm a destroyer.
Yeah, this is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber, a real workplace lawyer, and, well, I've barricaded the doors because I don't want Rhemus Helms bringing in any more guests, and I certainly won't book any more of his guests. Tonight, we will have live callers. One is already on, 877-525-0700, the number at the Employment Lawyers Group, from where we are broadcasting until this whole COVID thing blows over, not in our direction or towards Sun Valley, California, but out into outer space where the usual guests come from who are on the show. Let me put on this caller. Hello?
Hey, hello? Is anybody there? I can't hear anybody.
I can't either.
I can't hear you.
We're having technical difficulties. The audience can hear us, but we can't hear each other.
Oh, I hate this guy. I hope he goes to hell.
We should be able to hear each other soon. Just hold on.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Beep! Can you hear me?
Oh, you should get your slices together before going on the air.
Well, it's hard to do these shows this way. What's your legal issue?
I got fired.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I wish this lawyer guy would get fired.
Did you say you fired your lawyer?
I don't have a lawyer.
Do you need a lawyer?
I want to sue my job.
You can't always do what you want.
They were making me do something unethical. I'm pretty sure it was illegal, too.
What was it?
I worked in a pizza restaurant. Now they're takeout only.
Well, I don't do cases against mom and pop businesses.
Oh, they're all over the country.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to be a waitress, but all I'm doing now is boxing the food.
Well, they can do that to you if you want to keep working. You know, they don't have to give you waitress work if they don't have any customers.
I want to complain about the way they put the pizzas in the boxes.
They aren't using gloves?
This happened before COVID.
What?
Oh, I forgot to say, they have outdoor dining.
Do you bring customers their food?
I just leave it at the window.
Well, all those people going to the window, is that good?
People are mostly ordering pizza.
Where is the legal problem?
They're making us put the pizzas back together.
What do you mean?
Like if a customer doesn't finish a pizza, we add it to a new customer's order.
That's disgusting!
I told them if they keep on recycling the pizza slices, I am gonna quit.
All right, ma'am, you've made a legitimate health and safety complaint that affects the public. You have grounds for quitting and suing.
Hey, is that your phone or mine?
Well, I have to answer it. I don't have call screeners here at 877-525-0700 right now to screen the new client calls.
Hey, is that you, Gerber? I want to say that lady on the phone is, playing with you.
Oh, we can't have a talk like that on this show.
Hey, is that Dombass?
Yeah, she's, spreading false rumors.
Miss, they aren't really making you pizzas back together at your job, are they?
They are.
Hey, you complained and I investigated. The only pieces they're recycling are the ones the customers haven't touched yet.
What?
Yeah, my client puts them through infrared lights and there ain't no germs or nothing on those pieces. There's no reason not to reuse them. There are lots of hungry people here in, Brooklyn.
The gamma ray gun doesn't work.
Dumas, how are you involved in this?
Yeah, I got a referral from Rhemus Helms to represent this restaurant. He says you don't do no employer cases. He's got some grudge against the restaurant.
Hello? Hello? I can't hear you.
Mr. Gerber, this is Rhemus Helms. Is it my personal prerogative if I want a company to go out of business?
Well, this is going to get confusing. And we have 3 people on at once besides me.
The hell with this. I was hoping to have a private conversation about pizza piecing problem.
Hey, it's not that kind of pizza piecing. It ain't like they mix up them pepperoni and vegetarian stuff or nothing.
The reason why I called was to ask you to sue the mayor for canceling Halloween in Los Angeles.
Well, I would imagine that the revenues for the Cosplay Ostrich Ranch could be greatly affected by your inability to have a Halloween separation or celebration, Rhemus Helms, if you could pull those people apart in the mile-long bed. Who could that be?
Hello, Mr. Gerber. Are you on a landline?
Hey, is that Cindy D, the most famous English-speaking landline phone sex operator in the world?
That's me. The reason I called was I wanted to say I had some of the best times of my life celebrating Halloween at the Rhemus Helms Cosplay Ostrich Ranch. I even re-narrated that story on episode 28 on the Karl Gerber with a K channel on YouTube, when you and Starbright were at a Halloween party at the ranch, and you ended up resurrecting Anita Orchid Helms, who died of boredom at a very dull job, because the 2 of you time traveled. Hey, I didn't authorize all these weird people to get on the phone. I wanted to have a private conversation about the pizza piecing practices at my employer.
Hey, like I said, they ain't mixing no meat stuff and vegetarian.
Why are the only people who are calling in people who've had contact with Rhemus Helms?
Mr. Gerber, the number of people I've had contact with is in the thousands.
Some sort of logo, like, served over 114 million.
Yes. And if you multiply that by how many sex partners all those people had, not all of them are still living, unfortunately. But
Wow, that's a boggling for my mind. I want to be like Rhemus Helms.
Dumas, that's never going to happen.
Rhemus, what exactly is your grudge against the pizza place where they're adding in uneaten pizza pieces to make a full pizza?
Hey, they ain't always doing that. For instance, if somebody hungry like me orders, they ain't gonna have nothing to piece back together.
With the cancellation of Halloween in Los Angeles, I'm really too depressed to get into the details of my grudge right now.
Seriously?
People come from all over the world to be at the Rhemus Helms Cosplay Ostrich Ranch on Halloween.
I thought every day was Halloween at your ranch.
You've probably heard of Fat Tuesday Carnival in Brazil. None of that compares to Halloween on the ranch.
And presumably you don't serve your guests pieced together pizzas.
The restaurant where that comes from is run by a pervert.
And that offends you?
Oh, come on, Mr. Gerber. He's just an ordinary family man.
Yeah, he's got that daughter, Anita Orchid Helms, who drinks the snuff and smokes the ostrich wine.
Yeah, I feel this show is devolving into the same thing, as if all of you were out on the balcony of my office vying for a spot on the latrine.
Mr. Gerber, after Objectum, and that crazy psychiatrist who used to be the pokey boy, I'm not going out on that balcony again.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Gerber, if I could put my desk out on that balcony. With all the curbside Nuru massages Nuazuki is doing in the back parking lot. You know, for privacy, I mean. Some of that stuff she can't do in front parking lot. It's sort of distracting, if you know what I mean. For me to get any legal work done, I made a big mistake last week. I was trying to multiply for billing purposes the time I spent writing them invalid objections by 10, and the calculator kept doing it by 14.
Did Zuki give you that calculator?
As a matter of fact, she did. Real nice gift. She must say, Mr. Dombass, you, good paying the rent. You know, mind your diploma that hang on dumpster. Get thrown out. I got git for you.
Whoever wins in November is going to adopt the base 14 system.
You can't bribe Joe. He won't have a regular army of cabinet members about to become convicted felons if they aren't already. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We've got a lot of people on the phone tonight. I want to get to all of them, so if you want to call me during the week at 877-525-0700, go for it. 877-525 for a real employment lawyer. 0700. It all goes together. It's like 877-525-0700. What is that? What is that?
Pepperoni. No anchovies.
The Employment Lawyers Group has successfully represented employees in wrongful termination, sexual harassment, employment discrimination, and unpaid wage lawsuits, including class actions. They are only paid when and if money is collected from the employer. Call 877-525-0700 during the week for an experienced job lawyer. 877-525-0700.
I'm a real lawyer.
This is Talk Radio 790 KABC. I'm Karl Gerber. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm a real workplace lawyer. I've got a lot of nuts on the phone tonight. Rhemus Helms is one of them, if you can believe that.
Isn't there something you need to say, Mr. Gerber?
I know, I'm long overdue. This program has been made possible through a generous grant from the Helms Foundation's $5.14 billion in funding and 14 inches of endowment.
You know, that's the only thing good about where I work. None of their pizzas are 14 inches.
I'm thinking, imagine that, old Dombass thinking.
What a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I get this one single thought in my head. It's the first one in years. Them not serving them 14-inch pizzas while Rhemus Helms got the grudge.
Was that true?
Don't you consider that a totally disrespectful act, Mr. Gerber? They have a location right down the street from the Rhemus Helms Cosplay Ostrich Ranch, and they don't have the decency to have a 14-inch pizza. Can you imagine that?
Well, actually, I can.
Come on, Mr. Gerber. That is very disrespectful towards Rhemus Helms.
I tell my clients maybe they can call the 14-inch pie the small plus.
The small plus?
They have a thing about every pie has to be divisible by 3 so people don't suspect they're putting the pizza back together.
Yes, if every piece was 2 inches, well, that would be too suspicious.
Can't they make their pieces different sizes?
That's the thing. If they did that, then they'd be these big pieces next to a bunch of small pieces. Maybe the big piece would be in the middle.
No, on the end, it's too hard to take them big pieces from the middle and not break up the whole pizza.
You know, there used to be a place in Studio City that had these gigantic pizzas. Their Hollywood store even crashed the Academy Awards.
There needs to be legislation. Every restaurant serving pizza within a 14-mile radius of the Rhemus Helms Ostrich Ranch can only serve 14-inch slices of pizza.
Yeah, maybe I could bribe a councilman or something. Them 2-inch pieces don't do nothing for me. Not the 3-inch pieces neither.
Such large pieces would lead to overeating and cholesterol, high blood pressure, and maybe even diabetes.
I have a problem being told what size pizza I have to eat. I don't think that's in the Constitution.
Well, no, it isn't.
Sometimes I use pizza when I'm on the phone.
Oh, boy, tell us about that.
It makes a real squishy noise. I can chomp, too.
Oh, gee. I'm feeling like I'm doing a landline phone sex call right now.
Mr. Gerber, I need you to sue the president.
Well, sure, why not?
Wow, that's some pretty heavy chew.
As you know, federal government has failed to pay the Helms Corporation for 114 million units of the malaria drug and Prozac, the malaria drug and Xanax combo.
Well, you know, I can only represent employees in lawsuits against collectible employers.
What about suing the mayor of Los Angeles?
Rhemus, why all these lawsuits?
Because he's mad that I contracted with the Trump administration.
Really?
Well, why else would he cancel Halloween?
I certainly do wonder.
Here's the other thing with where I work. They pass around pieces on Halloween.
Hey, what's wrong with that? I used to love it when I was a kid and my trick-or-treat bag got all greasy from pieces of Brooklyn pizza. Oh, my neighbors threw in there when I rang their doorbells. Joy buzzes too.
And Dumas, were you wearing a costume?
So my company posts on their website. They do all this charitable stuff.
I'd have to say, whatever they do is in pale comparison to the Helms Foundation, $5.14 billion in funding and 14 inches of endowment.
But they give out the re-pieces.
Oh, I never thought I was eating some other guy's drool. Went in, I trick-or-treating at Green Science Pizza.
Oh, we're talking about Green Science Pizza? Ugh, that's disgusting. I used to get my slices there. They're right around the corner from Underground Operators in Old Town Pasadena.
Yeah, no wonder they got such good deals on them single slices, and you never have to wait for those things. Ugh.
Mr. Gerber, can't you sue the president? Or at least the mayor?
How is this happening? None of you were invited in as guests, and you're all here! And even this woman who wants to quit a job over recycled pieces of pizza put back in the pizza pies.
Or sold by the slice for a real good deal. Aren't you been listening, Gerber? Haven't you been listening?
Yes, but Green Science Pizza is also violating the Rhemus Helms system of measurement by making their pieces 3 inches and not 2 inches, and saying 3s can be subdivided into 14s.
Well, this all raises a very interesting question. If a reused piece of pizza is put back into a pizza, is it reheated? If it's reheated, might it shrink? I mean, if a reused pizza is put back into a pizza, it's reheated, it's not going to look right.
Gee, a light bulb just go off in my head, Gerber. Now I know why them single slices are always so cold.
This is disgusting.
When I tried to heat up one of the recycled pieces, maybe get some of the germs off from when the other customer didn't need it, they told me it was wasting electricity.
I think that was merely a pretextual explanation meant to mask the fact they didn't want the pieces to shrink and not fit into a newly made partial pizza.
Oh, no. Those aren't newly made partial pizzas. Most of the time, the pieces are still together as half or 3/4 of the pizza. They just add in singles from the leftover pizzas.
Well, presumably they try to make the pizza not that great so that nobody actually finishes their pizza pie.
No, not true. It's the best damn pizza west of Brooklyn.
Dombass, how would you know? I don't think you were even born in Brooklyn.
Now, you go figure how it was I was working, selling carpets for the heads in the town home floors when Myron was just Myron, and then just Myron Goldberg, and then just Myron Goldberg Alfombra, and then he dropped the Goldberg and was just Myron Alfombra. It's a documented fact I was working in Queens.
Yeah, I always wonder why employees continue to work in unsafe workplaces, exposing the public to health risks, and they don't call OSHA.
What am I supposed to do? They'll fire me if I call OSHA.
Why do you want to work at a place that won't even make 14-inch pizzas within a 14-mile radius of the Rhemus Helms Cosplay Ostrich ranch?
Yeah!
Yeah, maybe you can be a good citizen and offer her a job at the ranch.
I can't do that. She used to pack ostrich eggs, and if an egg broke, she tried to put the yolk back in. And if she could, she put a piece of duct tape over where the egg cracked.
Yeah, I see some of those over at Dumb and Incomplete. I thought the duct tape was something they forget to take off after the shipping all the way from the Rhemus Helms Cosplay Ostrich Ranch. They say those are the best ostrich eggs around.
Guaranteed to make your private?
Really?
Oh, yeah. They say they make them grow like an ever-growing Berber toupee. That is actually nylon.
There is one question I'd like to ask Miss Pizza Waitress. Where do they keep all the slices the customers don't eat?
Well, they got a big sorting room in the basement. They try to match the pieces so they look right. If they got an oddball piece, it might sit underneath the heat lamps for days.
I was wondering about that. They say the pizza there can give a good man diarrhea.
Are you now thinking it wasn't just the great pizza that did it, but it was all those recycled pieces, Dombass?
Nah, I don't trust no food that sits under a heating lamp. Those things are for tanning in the Bronx when there ain't no sunshine for months.
If I didn't get so many new client calls at 877-525-0700, I'd disconnect the phone line so I didn't get these nuts calling in at midnight after Friday's all done.
Mr. Gerber, we just text you.
Oh, brother, this is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. Give me a call at the office, 877-525-0700 for a real workplace lawyer, 877-525-0700 if you so wish, 877-525-0700. I won't make you sit on the latrine on the balcony. We'll be back next week.
Oh, I am a pizza. I am a pizza. Pepperoni. Pepperoni. No anchovies. No anchovies. Or both.
The Employment Lawyers Group has successfully represented employees in wrongful termination, sexual harassment, employment discrimination, and unpaid wage lawsuits, including class actions. They are only paid when and if money is collected from the employer. Call 877-525-0700 during the week for an experienced job lawyer. 877-525-0700.